Hey guys, noon on Thursday. You know what time it is? Hoerner happy hour time. So we got a lot of stuff today to go through. First and foremost, I'm starting to get my CPM, my Psychopoet method peeps getting pretty far through the program, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback. So thank you guys. I'm glad you're getting a lot out of the program, and I mean, I worked really hard on it. So I'm glad that you like it. Keep the comments coming, keep the emails coming, give me your feedback. I love hearing it and hearing how you're doing. So make sure you check in with me if you are a CPM member. Everyone else, we're going to dive into, I think we have 4 things to cover today. I'm going to start with Katie's question about Spotify and some tricks for organizing music in Spotify, because I know a lot of us use Spotify, and honestly, this will apply to iTunes or whatever else you can use. As long as you can create playlists, then this will apply to you as well. So for Spotify people or anyone, the best way I have found to organize music, and this will differ depending on how you organize your classes, but if you're CPM people or if you organize based on and you teach to the beat of the music, then you're going to want to organize your playlist by BPMs or RPMs. I prefer RPMs. Here's why that's different. You might have, let's say we organize by 5 to 10, in a 5 to 10 range. So that's 80 to 85 RPMs or 80 to 90. If I do RPMs, I might have a song in there that is 160 BPMs, but I put it in that 80 to 85 or 80 to 90 RPM range because I'm taking the half beat. So it gets a little bit confusing, but let's organize by RPMs. I think that's the best way to do it. Then you can kind of categorize within that based on what kind of genre you're looking for, what energy you're looking for. Now, the best thing about Spotify is what I do is I organize by RPMs, but then I go to sort your music, which if you don't know about it, check it out. I think it's sortyourmusic.playlistmachinery.com, something like that. Just Google sort your music Spotify and it'll come up. You can look at a particular playlist and it will break it down by all different metrics. So it'll tell you the BPMs, it'll tell you the energy of the music, dance, loud. Those are some of the categories. So it breaks it down by all these different kind of sorting mechanisms, and it'll also give you the length. So once I have my playlists by RPM, and I sort that over time. So don't feel overwhelmed like you need to go and sort everything right now. As you create your playlist, starting now, every time you do it, sort the songs in the playlist into these new buckets by RPMs, and it will build over time, and then you'll have kind of some basic. And if you have extra time, you can go in there and just sort some random songs, but you don't need to overwhelm yourself by thinking you need to create a whole library right now. Do it the way you're doing it, and as you do, sort into those RPM buckets. Then you can use sort your music if you're using Spotify, and you can sort by energy, which I like to use, or specific BPM within the ranges that you put. So if you do a 10 BPM RPM range, then you might need to go into sort your music to get a little bit more specific depending on what you want to do. And you can also look at length and all that stuff. So it's really helpful to use sort your music in conjunction with playlists broken down by RPM. So I think personally that's the best way to do it. You could also break down by drills, or have like a hill category, a heavier hill category, flats, jumps, recoveries, things like that. It really depends on how you organize your playlist when you're going to create your classes. So think about that. What's the first thing that you think about? Are you kind of organizing by drill, by RPM? Maybe it's a combination of the two, and figure out what would be the easiest way for you to go into your music and pick something out. That's really what it will determine how you want to organize it. But I do think you can't fail with RPMs, because it's much easier to go in there and click through and find a genre that you like after you know kind of what category your RPMs are in. So hopefully that was helpful. I have talked about Spotify a few times in here, so I don't want to go into too much more detail. Hey, Stephanie. But you can go back and check some of the old Hoerner happy hours. By the way, guys, those are all on YouTube. I can link them. I probably should. So you don't have to sort through everything in the Facebook group. I did put them on YouTube. So I will do that. Remind me, I'll put the link in there afterwards. The other question, Mary had a really good question. It's probably going to cause a little controversy in here. So Mary, I love it. But she was asking about what people think an instructor should look like. Visual appearance doesn't matter. So a couple things here. First and foremost, when it comes to just body shape and size, that will not determine whether someone is a good instructor. I think we know that, right? People tend to judge a book by its cover. That's fine. But I've seen amazing instructors who are larger, who are smaller, and the other way around. People that look like they would be a great instructor and they're not. So I don't think that has any relevance to whether or not someone is a good instructor. Now, there is kind of a line there, right? Because you want people to take fitness seriously if they're going to be teaching it to you. So people might come in with a particular idea of what they want someone to look like. And you also have to remember, guys, as instructors, a lot of people come into our classes and they want to be us. They look up there and they see someone who's confident, even if we're faking it, and strong and just a lot of energy, and they want to be that. So people want to imagine themselves as you, and everyone has a different idea of what that should be. So that's going to kind of differ person to person. Now, what I do think actually we can control and does matter is your ability to look like a professional. So yes, we're in workout clothes and we're sweaty and we're gross, but if you show up kind of, stains on your shirt, not really, you just woke up, you're doing your hair as you walk in, you clearly are not, on your game, I think that kind of appearance works against you because it just makes you look like you're not serious and you're not working hard. So why will they work hard for you? I think you got to come in buttoned up, ready to go, professional, get there early, by the way, don't just roll in out of bed. That sort of thing, that sort of appearance, I think it does matter because we do need to give off the impression that we work hard. I mean, it's a job. We work hard to be there. We want people to work hard for us. We have to show it. So in that sense, I do think, creating a brand with the way that you look and dressing the part, I do think that is important in giving off the sense that you want to give for what kind of class you're going to deliver. So hopefully that made some sense. I think yes and no to answer the question, but you kind of have to feel your own way through that one because it can be different for everybody, and it is. Okay, Amy asked about clip-ins and shoes and TIEMs, which I have. I'll get them actually. Hang on. Uh-oh. Okay, no, I won't. I think I left them at the studio, so never mind. But basically, TIEMs are they look like a sneaker. So they are a new brand of cycling shoe. We do actually sell them at our studio. They're not the ones that we use for rentals, but they're pretty cool looking. It does look like a sneaker, like I said. And the beauty of it is the clip is inside of, I really wish I had them with me. Next time, I'll bring them. The clip is inside of the rubber at the bottom, so much so that you can walk and you're not stepping on the clips because the clips are buried in a little bit. The beauty of that is you're not going to wear down the clip. So you might notice on a really old pair of cycling shoes that the bottom, especially if they're SPDs, the bottom part gets worn down and the clip no longer clips in securely if that's the case. So I like TIEMs for that reason. They prevent that from happening. Now, they aren't as hard of a sole, at least in my opinion. It doesn't feel quite as hard as my old shoes, but it's nothing that's an issue for me. My foot's not bending over the pedal. As long as it's hard enough that I feel like I'm secure, it's fine, and it's been fine for me. I have had people who have wider feet have issues with the TIEMs, but other than that, no complaints. People love them. So it is one of those things. I mean, it's like a sneaker, right? Everyone's going to have their preference. So you kind of got to try what you like. But your second question about cleats shifting and the alignment on the shoe. So every time I put my shoes on before I teach a class. I look at the bottom and I make sure that the clip is where I want it to be. So if it looks crooked or if it feels a little loose, you're gonna wanna tighten that in. It sounds like, Amy, you might just need to really tighten up those screws. We have people come in all the time who say they're not able to clip in, and then we look at the bottom of their shoe and it's cockeyed, or it feels loose to them. They're on the bike and it feels loose. Again, needs to be tightened. So just get in there and tighten those screws as much as you can in the right alignment that you want. I tend, if it's SPDs, I tend to push it all the way to the top and tighten it there because of the way my foot is proportioned, but where you align it will depend on the size of your foot. So guess and check, and then once you find it, tighten those screws. Yeah, that's actually a big issue. A lot of people, those come loose and then it really throws off your ride and it's dangerous. So it's definitely something you want to be aware of and make your riders aware of. Okay, last question, not really question, but Elizabeth, you came in here and talked about how you had no one in your studio for class and it was super discouraging, and I totally get it. I've been there, believe it or not. I think we all have, if not no one, then just a few people. First of all, let me tell you that right now we're in the thick of the slowest time of the entire year, at least for us. Everyone's getting their back to school vacations in right before school starts. They're all away, especially in Massachusetts. Everyone's down at the Cape, finishing up the summer. If you're somewhere in the Northeast or somewhere where it gets cold, you know that people are trying to take advantage of the summer. That being said, this can happen in the middle of the winter, especially if you have a time slot that's super early or maybe a little bit of an awkward time during the day, maybe really late. So don't look at this kind of thing in isolation. You have to look at it on the whole. Do you teach other time slots? Do you teach, every week? Look at week to week, look at your other time slots. If you're getting people in your classes, and again, in summer, it's going to be slow no matter when, but if you're getting people in your other classes, don't look at this like it was something you did, because it's not. It's just people and their schedules. Now, if you are starting to see a trend where, for the next couple months, you end up not getting a lot of people in your classes, that's totally fine. What you do then is the people that are showing up, you ask them for feedback and you see what you can work on to get better. Don't see it as something discouraging or something sad. This is an opportunity to get better. That's all it is. So everyone's been there. I think it's a growing experience, and honestly, it's really great to get that feedback regardless of how many people are in your classes. So if you can start to solicit some feedback from your members to see what they like, what they don't like, maybe have your manager come to your class and see if they can critique you a little bit so you can work on things, just to make you feel better that you're working on something so you can get more people in there. But I'm sure you're doing fine. I'm sure it's just a seasonal thing, so I wouldn't worry about it. The other thing that you can do is market on social media. So post on Instagram stories, Facebook, get people in there, tell them you're there, and then get people in there. It sounds like, I think you said you only started in May, so you're brand new, so they might not even know about you. They might just see a new instructor on the schedule and not want to risk it. So if you explain to them, this is, come in, we're going to have fun. It's going to be great. I have a great playlist ready. I got a lot of energy. I'm excited to see you guys. It'll get people in there. You got to raise the excitement for your classes. So again, don't worry. Again, super slow time of year. It will get better. Promise. Okay. I talked really fast through that. Sorry, guys. I thought I had a lot more and I wanted to get through it, but I'm so bummed I don't have my shoes to show you. I actually have no idea where they are, so that's no good. But one last thing I want to mention. I think I mentioned in here or an email. I'm working on, it was an email. I'm working on a bundle, not anything crazy, maybe like 3 to 5 class profiles of mine, because a lot of people have been asking for them. So I'm going to do just a few. I'll try to make them pretty thorough, and I'll sell them for pretty cheap. I do have to sell them because this is something I work with paying clients on, so I can't just give them away. But I'll keep it small and cheap so you guys can see if you like it. And if you like it, it's something I can definitely do going forward. So keep an eye out for that. I'm working on it. It's been a crazy couple weeks for me, so it might take some time. I'll keep you updated. I am going to put the waitlist link in the comments, so if you want to sign up, you'll be the first to hear about it. That's usually who gets the discount if you sign up early for waitlist. So check that out. If you have any interest in getting some of my class profiles, get on there. And that is all I got. So have a great rest of your week. I will see you guys next week. And then after that, we're into September already. So classes are going to start ramping up. It's going to be awesome. Everybody have a great weekend.